not only may you inspire the next Mark, think about this. You might inspire the next Jake, as in the next Jake Wood.
You know,
And
the
then to
same thing.
get and then to get him then to get that person involved financially.
Yeah.
So
Wait a
that's why
minute.
you got to broaden. I know exactly
I
what you're
gotta,
about
yeah,
to do. So
I gotta do Jake.
okay,
Hold on a minute. Is it, yo, Jake, yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. I'm sorry, I had to,
That never gets
I,
old for you, huh?
no, it
no.
doesn't. No, it does not.
But that's true because you know what? One thing you could do is this: if I would say a group of bodybuilders, can be both men and women, go to a school. Best to go is like elementary school or middle school. High school students are a little bit jaded because at that point in their age, they're kind of not yet adults, but still mindset of children. They're, they can be a bit, but you can try that one too. And talk about who you are. If you like, I know quite a few of your bodybuilders who are teachers, and I know they have. Hey, you know what? We got to have like some kind of like we have some kind of show day. Come out here, have a booth, talk to the kids, let them ask questions. I think one thing, I think the big concern is always with the parents is that it's about steroids. It's a hey thing. Don't you see athletes use it in terms of education? About like, hey, we don't use it just all the time. We use it because it helps in our growth, in our process. It helps with information of our joints and our bones. Yes, it's used, but it's also, many of us have doctors we use, and we don't use it all the time. We only use it when we are competing, getting ready for season, because we need muscle to grow. And it takes a lot more time for us to grow muscle naturally. If you look at the guys like the big Ramis, you look at the Derek Lungfords, even look at Andrea, or you look at Natalia Korbaleva, that's Raheem's girl. And it's, you just have to be an outreach in the community. It all starts out as like the movie Green Mile. At the end of it, when Tom Hanks says he got out of the whole thing, put system, got into going after juvies. He says, get them while they're young, and that's probably the best place to go. Get the young people, or go to a college, and hey, like you're in a big town, like like something like Tampa, it's a big town, some colleges around there, or if you're doing Chicago Pro, if you're doing Texas, as you know, we saw that they're not going to have wins by in Texas, but that's another system. We talked about that yesterday. Just reach out and see, get people who might be interested. You never know. It might be some, superintendent or some principal or some professor say, you know what, I know a friend who's a bodybuilder and they want to talk about their sport. We'll have the parents come and get their thoughts on it too, because you have to re-educate the people who are, either they go by what they hear from mainstream media. Like you mentioned quite a few mainstream media often, put the evil eye on bodybuilding because the whole thing is steroids. But if there are people willing to challenge, like, hey, if you're somebody like a sports expert, something like that, or announcer, hey, come out here and let's have a debate. Like take like a guy like Samson Dua, have him on debating somebody like Stephen H. Smith, or or take Andrea, or have a debate. Somebody just got to be able to put yourself out there, because you know what, you're not going to have anything. You're not going to fight for it. Wait a minute here. We got a comment from Raheem. He's just saying, he says, Keith Williams can't make it onto the show today. He is about his Chiefs lost. Someone do a wellness check on Keith. Now the brother's all right. If he come, he'll come. If not, he, my big brother, he just leave him alone. Raheem. I know, and you your girl, and the bear.
Yeah, that's why he can't come on because he's busy with a picture of Natalia Kovaleva. That's why it's not coming on. So
You're like, oh, like that movie, Midnight Express. Oh, Billy. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But that's the thing, is that you have to really work at this, to take the time to go to the area. Especially, you have to do it in the major areas, the big areas, are like the bigger cities. It's people in small areas are just not open. It's open minded, but it takes just a few. to show, like, what this sport's about. And also, you know, this is something that, like we seen some bodybuilders do like network shows. I remember, David sent me a video of Sherry Piami. She was on a local news station. I remember a while
Right.
back I saw the Taekwondo on one. I've seen some ladies, do local news stations every now and then. But you know what? I would say if you live in a certain area, especially if it's a big bracket, just go ahead. I like to talk about myself or share my story or just let people know who I am. And it's just you got to take a risk. If you want
Right.
anything in this world, it's about taking a risk.
I
Yeah.
remember there was a bodybuilder. She was in a newspaper, but it was negative. It was a sexual harassment charge. Some guy was feeling up on her or something. I think he was a male bodybuilder, and I think she want to press charges, something like that. She was taking him to court or something like that. Yeah, well, I forgot her name, but she was. I'm not good with names. It's a long time ago. Their names slip out my mind and stuff. So forgive me if I don't know no names. But
Yeah.
I
I
mean, there was
remember.
times where you would hear what you was about to say because I'm
No,
I'm
go
ranting.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and finish.
No, I would just say like there's times that you would hear about female bodybuilders like in a newspaper sometimes or like on TV, but it just like people really not paying them no mind. So I mean that's it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think one of the women that you're talking about may be Amanda Jo Savelle, because
Yeah,
she was a competitor. She's a popular figure. She was in bodybuilding, but then she was a figure competitor. I actually got a couple of pictures with her at the I think it was the 2007 Arnold Classic. That was a horrible situation because apparently her husband was really abusive towards her. Apparently she fought back, and he not only killed her, and I mean it was a murder. He was found of a murder suicide. So he killed her, and then he killed himself. So it
nah,
was like
this was different.
it's like a real tragedy. But I mean, it was
Yeah,
the same. It's the
yeah,
same thing. But another
yeah.
reason why, in relation to what you're talking about, George, why you should put yourself out there, that gives you, especially if you did the same thing that the women in Brazil did, that gives you a golden opportunity to counteract all this stuff. Like I always keep hammering home what the mainstream media says about bodybuilding. It's exactly like you say. The number one question is steroids. It's like the question I would ask is, what do you actually know about them other than what the media has told you? What have you actually studied? Have you actually talked to any? Or are you just reiterating what they told you? And I mean that's what I would challenge them with. It gives you a golden, what's known as education, is a teachable moment to say, hey, to counteract this, to counteract some of the things that are said. And especially if you're an honest to God natty competitor, because people will assume that if you put on muscle, period, that there's some people out there that put on serious muscle, period, you got to be on the gear. Said, what would you say if I told you I've never taken it into my life? That I've been
But the
hardcore
thing
training,
is,
that I've been hardcore training for 15 years. See,
the
putting yourself out there gives you a golden opportunity to counteract some of the outright myths that are out there due to the mainstream, due to the media, as to what's going on with female bodybuilding or bodybuilding in general, and gives the competitor a golden opportunity to counteract that, and to be able to educate people as to what really is going on with bodybuilding, how what the lifestyle really is like, and counteract a lot of the myths that are out there. So
but some of the
that's another reason why they should get involved. That's another reason to put yourself out there. You're giving yourself an opportunity to challenge people to rethink this
Yeah.
and say,
Like,
hey, what if I don't know what I'm talking about?
give me a second. What can we got to say?
no, I was saying to some of the stuff that some of the bodybuilders put themselves out there with the steroids because I remember Brian Gumble he was interviewing big bodybuilders like Brandy May and all that stuff, they say that they would use certain, you know, substances to enhance themselves, collect Nelson and all that stuff. And then, you know, not too long ago, I was looking at Lee Priest. He he would have just admit that he used. So some of that stuff, I mean, it's on them too. They put themselves out there to for people to have that carry that stigmatized, you know.
But yet at the same time, there's an education to it, and then people, if you're willing to educate yourself about it, that's the thing. You have to, because yes, there are people say, yes, I use this, I use that, but if you don't learn why to use it or what's it for, and it's so easy to pick on bodybuilding because good amount of most of your mainstream athletes use it, and then they tell you, hey, they use steroids, but they don't want you like even Hollywood, a lot of
Because it's
these
not normal. That's why. That's why
yeah,
they get at them. Because they're
yeah,
huge. They're extremely huge.
yeah,
That's why they
but
pick on them. Like
yeah.
that's why they pick on them.
Yeah, but like I say, you see these Hollywood actors who do movies like the Avenger movies or Justice League movies. Most of them did like I've never seen like Henry Cavill when he was younger. Before he became Superman, he wasn't that big, muscular shape. He had a good physique, but he wasn't like that. Because he had to grow.
Yeah,
And you just eating, you eating, yes, yes, yes. That's part of it. You eating, you have sick. There's so much calories. So you know that movie coming out with John Major's magazine Dreams, he talks about that. But still, you do need certain things to help you get over to get that extra size. And that's the thing, people need to educate them on that. Some stuff is helpful, but some stuff is dangerous also. It's like any athlete, we use any kind of performance enhancers. It was so easy to pick on bodybuilders. Yes, you said again, KO, because how big they are, how huge they get. But you get guys in NFL, you look at guys in boxing, guys in mixed martial arts, CrossFit. That's a popular sport. The strongman competitions. Most of those guys, yes, they're big dudes, but they're not like bodybuilders. They don't train the same like bodybuilders. They're trained for strength. Bodybuilders is a sport of presentation, not much of strength. Here we got here, my man Raheem. He's in against. He says it's about entitlement today, plain and simple. Yeah, but the thing is,
I
sometimes
do
not
agree.
everybody's entitled to it. Go ahead.
I do agree with you that people gotta educate, but it depends on the person. Because people they really don't give a fuck about the sport like that. Excuse me how I'm saying it, but it depends on the individual. Because just even talking with, some people, even being in the discussion, it's about educating too, So I'm not going to just like throw shit at people, throw shit at, the bodybuilding thing. But I'm just saying that some of that, they did contribute to people's perception of it. And people like they get brainwashed easily, so.
That's true because people, when you don't know something, and then you hear somebody else saying something about it, but you don't actually talk to the person like, okay, if you see somebody that's a bodybuilder, and hey, are you a bodybuilder? Tell me about it. So, how you get into it. So you really want to learn, but some people don't want to learn. They say just go by their prejudice. Say, hey, you're some big freak. You take steroids all day. You just said, no, no, no. There's more to it. You know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is people like some things condensed and simple. When you try to tell somebody the whole detail of everything, they just kind of bug out because it's so much information. Sometimes they can't handle it. But if you're somebody who's willing to sit and listen, like I do my interviews, I sit and listen, I get information. We have this. That's why I ask questions, but also we have a good back and forth discussion. We talk about things, and
Hmm.
And some of
we
them
go.
don't want to talk about that too, as well, for whatever reason. So, I don't know if that's helpful either. So
Yeah,
that's
that's the
the
thing
thing
is.
too. And then people gonna put that in there, you know.
That's the thing is. Those people need to get out of their own way and start, blocking, because sometimes they have like some people might have some mental blocks, and sometimes they've been burnt, or maybe they want to feel they want to put too much of themselves out there. That's the thing is, you're on a stage, and that's the thing people get. We see people on the stages, and they're competing. They still have their own, fears and phobias, like any other human, you know. But if you are willing and wanting to, you know, talk about who you are. why you do what you do. And also, you have to understand that there's going to be some pushback against it. There's going to be people who's going to make comments. That's the thing is, that's them. You can't worry about them. But if you see that one person who says, you know what, I'm interested, I want to learn more. And that's the thing. That's all it takes. That one person that gets you interested in it. You might even think about, hey, you know what? I mean, I want to be a bodybuilder. Maybe just want to work out, get in shape. Maybe change some of my lifestyles. That's what I did when doing this content because I still have bad habits. I'm not perfect. And I try to, like you also say, I ain't trying to be a bodybuilder, but I am trying to be a little helpful because I do have to deal with issues like obesity and other stuff. And I try to be smart with my stuff, but I'm not going to be perfect because I know this afternoon I had a couple of donut sticks and I ate some a sub sandwich, but I was hungry. But
It's
but
not easy. I ain't laughing at you because I do the same
yes, you know, I
thing.
just forget
I
it, man.
eat things.
But now no problem with that. I don't have a problem with that because I know I'm not perfect. And that's the thing is, people stop striving to be perfect. It's impossible for any human being be perfect. Perfection is not meant for us. We're infallible creatures. We make
I
mistakes.
tend to disagree on that, but I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah. Uh, Somebody sent me this. It was from Dave Solomon. And this is something he talks about how to get more attention for the Olympia. Olympia's coming up. It's going to be coming up in October again, and they're going to have it back in Vegas. Possibly I wouldn't mind to have it back in Orlando. Maybe I'm thinking about maybe saving a few bucks and maybe go to if they have it in Orlando. And I don't have to fly all the way to Vegas, especially with things going on right now with planes falling the sky, kind of. But he is the president of the Olympia. Olympia is owned by, I gotta say it, Yo Jake. Yeah, I'll stop right there. You know, but he does give some fine points in a way. But still, what needs to be done to get more mainstream for the Olympia. And the thing is, you have to work at that. Mainstream is a hard thing to get into, especially if you're a fringe sport like bodybuilding. We're gonna pull it up here.
That we can sell out an entire stadium because I am convinced. I've seen the way you all out there buy tickets. I've seen how quickly the tickets go. We put our Olympia tickets on, and in 2.5 days, they were sold out. That's not hyperbole. That's not propaganda. That's not bullshit. That's real. Those tickets sold out in less than 3 days. I've seen the insatiable appetite bodybuilding fans have for the sport that they love. And I am convinced that we can grow the venue and sell out arenas and sell out stadiums, just like you turn on WrestleMania, and every year WrestleMania is held at a football stadium, and they sell it all out. I think we could do that. Now, does bodybuilding lend itself to a stadium environment? Maybe not. But we're working so hard to raise the bar in terms of the number of people that follow our sport. Not just the experience, not just the production, but the popularity of it. It's the reason why we're making a movie about it, because bodybuilding has become so wildly fanatical around the world. There are countries which bodybuilding is the first or second most popular sport in that country. You travel the world, Tarek. I know you see it. So we really are trying to take advantage of the popularity and the impact the Olympia has around the world. And I'm convinced we can sell out a venue as big as we want. But for now, we're at Resorts World, which is a fantastic venue, a little smaller than I'd like, to be honest with you, but it enables us to do some really cool things.
Yeah, said again, they're planning to have it back in Vegas. The Resort World, I think, had it last year. The Olympia is, as you know, is one of the biggest shows in bodybuilding. Next to you have the Olympia, you have Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, the Rising Phoenix. Is still, it's not as big compared to those two, but still, it's one of the few shows where it's exclusively for the ladies. No banana hammocks, no board shorts, just all the ladies. The Rising Phoenix / Arizona Pro, and could they, fill up a football stadium? Doubt it. But if you can get more people interested in it and who want to check it out, I think David went last year and he says the tickets are very expensive. I mean, I think it's like just sitting in the gallery is going to be like almost $500. I think I heard.
For the
And
Olympia?
yep, yeah,
Oh, I'm not
yeah.
going. I don't think I'm going in this lifetime. So
Yeah, yeah. Or you sit in the nosebleed seats, that's still a couple $100 because it's such a big major sport. Bodybuilding has grown in the last when Ben Weeder started like almost 80 years ago. It has grown, and there's been a few stars out of it. Like one thing, most definitely Arnold Schwarzenegger, who has made a living for it, because if it wasn't for bodybuilder, he wouldn't have the Conan movies, wouldn't have the Terminator movies, he wouldn't have the success he has. Became governor for a snort bit and created a show like Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. People like Lou Ferrigno, became the Incredible Hulk. You know, me and Kay the thing about Corey Everson and Rich McLeish. And you wouldn't have documentaries like Pumping Iron and Pumping Iron 2. And instead of doing a movie, and I hope they have the women involved in it, because if you're going to do a movie about bodybuilding, you can't exclude women's bodybuilding physique and just focus on the bikini and the wellness girls, because it's not fair. And it took women's bodybuilding a long time to come back. And thanks again to, I'm not going to do it for y'all guys, I'm not going to do it. Thanks to Jake Wood doing what he did and fighting for women's bodybuilding to return to the Olympia, because there was only one point, there was only two divisions for a long time: men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding, and there was two Olympias, and then they decided to merge both those Olympias and have a big Olympia weekend. And then here comes fitness, and that came also at that time, and then here comes the other divisions, because it wasn't for those divisions wouldn't exist. Here we got a comment from my man Raheem. Man, you sitting here talking comments since you get in here. He says people make comments on basketball, make comments on football, make comments on baseball, make comments on hockey. All of them saying I can do better than the people who play it. Yes, you can, because Heath says this. There's only so few people to get picked in the NFL. Thousands and thousands of people have tried out, do the combines, do the tests, like that, and they don't make it. It's so a few, maybe a few thousand people who get into the NFL or in the NBA or the NHL or even any major sport, because you have to have that broad natural talent. Here you got one from Raheem again. He says, bodybuilding was in mainstream when the original owners had it. The problem is those who are in the charge now. Yeah, because remember, I think like one point, I think Keith has mentioned saying I'm always shot by my big brother. He's always been dropping dimes. I know he's going through some hard shit right now. His team took a big bad loss, but hey, brother, we love you and hope you're doing well. I'll check out him later. But yeah, I remember when the Weeders had it, they really, even though they didn't like where women's bodybuilding was going, Joe still supported it. Jim Main's not the same as Joe Weider or Ben. Ben was the business mind. He was the guy who backed his brother's play, and that's good. He was kind of like what's the movie I'm thinking about? The scene where the dude back, it's from the movie Wider, when he buffaloed these guys, and Sam Sizemore played.
Tombstone.
No, this is Wider, not Tombstone. Sam
Yeah, Kevin Costner, Wide Earth.
Yeah. Sam Sizemore played Bat Matheson, and he backed Wyatt's play while his brother George was just talking. But but Bat was ready to get the gun and drop. He supported it. That's how the relationship between Joe and Ben. They backed each other's play. Here from my man Raheem again, it says bodybuilding was wait a minute, sorry, let's see that guy. He says test run selling out MSG for the Olympia. Maybe you should do that. Also, he has another one here. He says it's grown yet people know Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou in mainstream. Yeah. And he has one more here to say. He says, George, do you do that wellness on Keith? Keep your head up, man. Next year the KC will go back. Yeah, man. Quit hating. You like I said again, Raheem, you talk all that junk here. Why don't you come on here, boy? Come down here, boy. Like I said, my man, Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch says, you just are nothing but a yellow belly egg sucking dog.
Well, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but I very much disagree with what they said, what he had to say in that video. And here's the reason why. He's saying that this is going to sell out an arena or sell out a football stadium. Bullshit. Bullshit that's going to happen. Take a look at what happened just yesterday, the Super Bowl. 1 billion people on this planet see that show every year. Does the Olympia even touch that? No. 99% of the planet have no idea the fucking show even exists. Nor do they even care about it. I mean, I hate to be the splash of cold water on this, but also notice what Dave said. Notice what he said repeatedly. He's talking about the bodybuilding fan base, the existing fan base, to try to get them to come to the Olympia, to try to get them to come to the show. We're not talking about that. We're talking about getting fresh blood into the fan base, to get out in the general public, is what we've been talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
And to be doing stuff there to be able to entice people who otherwise wouldn't give a bodybuilding show any credence whatsoever or even a consideration. So that's my question for Dave in relation to what we're talking about here. Yeah, notice he's doing this on a bodybuilding show. He's doing this for bodybuilding fans. What talk shows is he going to do in Las Vegas that otherwise wouldn't be covering bodybuilding? I have no idea if he does that. But what does he do personally? What radio shows does he go on? What TV shows does he go on? What social media personalities does he hook up with to go on their podcasts? Is he doing any of this shit? I have no idea. And if he's not, all he's doing here is preaching to the choir. And I'm sorry, the choir is very, very small compared to something like football or baseball or basketball. So I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to get people interested to come to the show. And that's fine. But I mean, he's preaching to the choir because he's talking to the existing bodybuilding fan base. What we're talking about here is how do we get fresh blood? Not only in terms of competitors, but new fans from the general public who otherwise wouldn't even consider bodybuilding to go to the Olympia. That's the question that needs to be answered. And then just to put it to him directly, what is he going to do personally? I don't know if he does. I don't know if he goes and does this sort of thing in Las Vegas. He very well may. But if he's not, I mean, that right there will get more people that will go to the Olympia that otherwise wouldn't, people that would go that would otherwise not even consider it. So that's why I say, I mean, yeah, it's great if you want to get more bodybuilding fans, but how about the people who otherwise wouldn't be bodybuilding fans who become it to get new fresh blood into the fan base? That's what's got to be done. You want to make this so that you will sell out an arena? Not only do you need to go out in the public sphere over and over and over again, but just that, you have to do that over and over and over again. Then maybe you will come to something like a big venue. But I mean, if you don't do that, sorry, that's not happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not going to.
Yeah. It used to be a long time ago, they had bodybuilding at the Madison Square Garden back in the day. That was a long time ago. I mean, around about the 80s and 90s. You know, it's just that they have to really reach out really to the everyday
Right,
public.
exactly.
If you don't reach out to them, they're not the ones. Because yes, it's good that you have your regular everyday fan base, but then you want the division to grow. You have to, like, I know bodybuilding has really grown the last few years. There's some countries like we just saw two young ladies turn pro in India. You know, it really has grown in Europe for a long time. Just saw David interview a young lady, Mariana Van Gege, who just made her Olympia debut last year. Me and Kaya both interviewed her. She's from Chile. That's another different part of the world. And really, if bodybuilding goes that far, how far it can go if you really educate the people. Shout out to my man. This is Mike Bison says, Fan Physique is spitting facts. The ship has sailed for trying to use cable TV to gain or regain mainstream viewership. The industry would need to use modern tech, example, mobile app development. That's one thing that could help. Also, Raheem says this. He says, He says, I agree with you in the middle. Hey, you has a name. He has a name, Raheem. He has a name. This is also from Mike. He says, need to leverage the power of the internet. Yeah, internet.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely right, Mike.
yeah. And here's one for Raheem. He says this. He says, shout out to Raheem. Says the Olympia's like the Grammys. People be like it was on. I don't really watch. I think I hadn't watched Grammys in years. I know I saw some stuff where Kanye's West's wife was on the red carpet butt ass naked. That's
But
just
well, I'm gonna disagree with Raheem when he says it was on, because people know about the Grammys. The
yeah.
actual question they would ask is, "What's the Olympia?" We've never heard of this before. So it's like you say, "Oh, what do you think of the Olympia?" It's like, "What's the Olympia?" Most people have no idea what it is. So it's like again, you got to get outside of the bodybuilding circles, and you have to get out there in the general public. And unless people like Dave and other show promoters like that make a consistent effort to do this in the general public, not just in the bodybuilding community, this isn't going to grow the way that he wants it to. I mean, yeah, you may try and get more existing bodybuilding fans to go to your show, but that's not the goal here. How do we bring back ESPN? Because ESPN regularly covered not amateur national level shows and the Miss International and the Miss Olympia back in the day. How do we get that back? How do we get back all the shit that was lost? How do we get back the social and cultural approval that they had during the 80s, which is gone now? How do we do that? That's what we need to ask, because it was so much better back then than it is now. And again, I'm not talking just the bodybuilding community. These are like national shows. Rachel McLish showing up to talk about her book Flex Appeal on Late Night with David Letterman, one of the most popular late night shows of all time. She and the likes of Lori Bowenrice and Gladys Portuguese appearing on Donahue, which was a very popular daytime talk show. Also, Carla Dunlap and Gladys Portuguese appearing with Regis Philbin on his
Yeah, I
own
remember
talk
Mhm.
that.
show. Before
I,
before um before Regis and Kelly Lee, it was just Regis, one of the most popular talk shows in the country.
Yeah.
I
also,
mean,
I remember
wait,
this.
all that's gone now.
I
How do
remember
we
years.
get that back?
I remember years ago. Bronson Pitchoff. Remember, he was on Perch Ring. He was Balky. He came in with three female bodybuilders. One was Dodie Marie. I think the other one was Shelly Beatty, and I forgot who his other girl was. And I remember one time, he was doing his monologue. This female bodybuilder walks out and kisses him. I forgot who it was, but she's a blonde. I remember her face, but I forgot her name. But she came out kiss Arsenio, and Montel Williams. He used to always have female bodybuilders on there because he was a big bodybuilding fan. I have that issue of muscle development. He's on the cover. I think he's with Shirley Beatty and Diane Dennis. And when you get these celebrities, like if you remember, I posted on my social media a while back that you had you said I got a picture of Shannon Sharp with
Yeah, I
Linda
was about
Murray
to
and
mention that to you.
yeah, and Lee Haney,
So,
and he did an interview with Ronnie Coleman.
yeah.
Shaq has been there. Some ladies. I talked one lady. She's not a fan of this lady. This is Dwayne Johnson, the Rock's ex-wife, Danny Garcia. She was a bodybuilder, but now her and the Rock, even though they hadn't been married for a long time, they're still business partners. They were at the Olympia, and there was one point they was thinking about doing kind of a organization that was, Rock was going to invest in because instead of you take that money put into the XFL because was it USFL whatever which one it was, but the problem was where the story was that Rock was going to have some kind of moral clause put into it, and a lot of these ladies who do OnlyFans and her biceps and the other, and, no offense again, guys, the beat the meat websites that will hurt their bottom line, and then you got to think about it. It would better probably take away attention from the um, Arnold Classic or the Andy Olympia. If Rock's a big star, he loves working out, he loves bodybuilding. You see every so often he posts on his social media him working out, or every other day he does that. He sits one day and eat a lot of food. Folks, I want to do this real quick. And why I just got this, I was on my mention my phone. Usually I turn my phone off, but I get this mention on my phone. I just picked up a new follower on my IG account, and I'm surprised. I wouldn't think they would follow me, and especially being a strong content maker. I'm being followed by now HD Baziques.
Okay,
That is,
that's cool.
one of the yeah, one
Joe
of the
Bear. I know
yeah,
him. I've
yeah.
met him at shows. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of his very more popular ladies that does aphids. He's contracted. 'Cause I remember Sean Nelson told me about it. Is Brooke Walker? They got some great photos from a lot of ladies here. I mean, I interviewed one lady here in this photo. That's Miss Christina Sutton. That's her and Brooke. They're doing little pull-ups together with a couple other ladies. I mean, I'm just really because I just always get the message on my phone because usually I have my phone off doing it. I don't know why. Because I'm waiting to see if Keith gonna leave a message, something like that. What's going on with him? But this is something great. My man David Bryant is his. This is the one he loves. That's Susan Matheson Graham. I think she never goes by now Susan Matheson because I heard she got divorced. She just did a video with Amanda Machado on Amanda's IG. There's new pro Paige Saw Grid. I interviewed her a while back. Congratulations to Paige. I hope she does make her pro debut. There's also Bree Marshall, another young lady I've interviewed, and a lady I was a fan of. She's no longer competes, and that is Katie Lee. She's just a beautiful physique, beautiful woman. I mean, I know last I heard she's doing some MMA BJJ tournaments now. BJ now, and getting competed since I think 2018, 2017. We have a comment here from my man Raheem, and Raheem's always talking. He says, I think it says, look, everyone is turning pro, yet no one knows their names. That's the problem. Yeah, that's true. You mentioned that it'd be best to go out in the street, say, hey, shake hands. He said at the street corner, shake hands, say, hey, my name is so and such, I'll be pro, or just get yourself out there. Also, he says this is Tubi had the Super Bowl on last night. What did I tell you guys? Since last year, Tubi is the way IB dropped the ball again. Yeah, because Tubi always gets shit on because of the movies and stuff. But it's become a popular platform. Recently you saw the WWE left USA. Other than the time when they left, they were on Spike TNT for half a minute, but they left USA to go to Netflix.
Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, Raheem is absolutely right when it comes to technology. For whatever reason, the IFBB and the NPC take a backwards look at technology. They always have. I mean, back when forum boards were popular, when streaming media came along, it's like this is like an ongoing criticism of them. It's like he said, look, the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, they do everything on cell phones and laptops. Worse, when it comes to judging, we still are writing out with pens and pencils on paper what the scores were. Then also weren't taking advantage at the time of streaming technology, even though the NFL, the MLB, NBA, all of them were getting on the bandwagon. They could have done it then, but they didn't. Then they finally figured out, hey, maybe we should be doing pay-per-view webcasts. So then they got involved with that. But it's just they've taken this backwards view towards this. It's like, look at some of the webcasts that are done. There's some that are really, really good in terms of resolution and such like that. There are others that really suck. And I mean, it's like, I'm just going to be real here. The church where I grew up, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but the church where I grew up, all manned by teenagers. They do a better job. They do a better job than some of, and on Sunday morning, they do a better job than some of these people putting out webcasts for their shows. They do. It's like I'm shocked nobody does an how some of these podcasts they don't have an HD option. Like if you want to do 4K or even 8K resolution. Again, I don't know if that costs more money, but I mean, for crying out loud, for some of the bigger shows where there is money, why not take advantage of that?
Yeah, you can't.
It doesn't make. And another example of this was Nationals one year, and everybody was upset because all of a sudden the feed cut, like mid show, like midnight show. Now I didn't see Nationals then, but it's like I looked at what they were talking about. It was put out on the Vimeo program, the Vimeo platform, not YouTube, but its competitor. Now it's like got 100 million users on its own right, so it's not like it's peanuts, but I mean it is a video platform that a lot of these shows have used in the past. And the thing that I noticed is that when I looked at the clip, it stopped almost bang on 12 hours. Like 12 hours and a couple of seconds. And I looked at that and I was like, well, that's odd. I mean, it's not impossible for that sort of thing to happen, but it looks weird that it happened right at 12 hours. So I went and looked. I was able to find the company or who it was that it was associated with Yamamoto Nutrition. And I was able to find what package they had, and it was a premium package, but it spells it out black and white that yes, you can stream a show, but only up to 12 hours.
12 hours.
And they will cut the feed then because you're only allowed. So what they should have done was do the prejudging as one event, start a new event for the night show. That gives you another 12 hours. But they didn't do that because nobody paid attention to this. This is what I mean when I say they need to start paying better attention to tech if you're going to decide to do it.
A lot of these are not into technology, but that's the thing is technology. Like for one example, it was a long time before I got a cell phone because I was like I didn't need that thing, but now I have this. I need to get another one because the crack has started acting up. I had it for at least about 5 years now, and it's doing this content, like doing these interviews on StreamYard. That's why, that's how I started doing, and you have to catch, you can't be a dinosaur. This is like this. Two things can happen. You either evolve or you become extinct. And if you can't evolve, you're going to be extinct. You have to catch up with the times. You can't be like, okay, we can do like this, do that. There's like one, I think a while back, the Muscle Contest. It was a show that was being promoted by Natalia Cuejo in Brazil. The company that does it is a Muscle Contest. They did the live for that. That was a show with just strictly women's physique. I watched it. It was on YouTube. Didn't have to go buy what's the phrase, a streaming service because that's the way somebody get their money, do the streaming service. A while back, you remember when Tina competed at the show in Anaheim? There was supposed to be a streaming service. She sent me a link. It was some kind of con artist shit. It was like supposed to be NBC or something like that, but it was some con artist shit. I had to check my account because and some shit and get it cleared up. There's things to do. Like I said again, you can take if you're in a big town or big city we have in college, and there's an AV school. You can go to the high school. Kids know this stuff by their heart because they grew up into it. Hire some of these kids and teenagers. You might even influence them, maybe get involved in bodybuilding in the future. You never know. You get involved in the business part of it, also sport part of it. And you have to be able to reach out, create an app. Like, I don't think even Olympia TV Online have their own app. Everybody has an app. You can get a app for I have an Uber app. I used to have an Uber app because when I went out of town for my first bodybuilding show, I had to catch a ride with an Uber because I didn't rent a car. I took a train down to Savannah, took the Uber to my motel room, took the Uber to the shows, took the Uber to go back home, even though I missed my train. But things are out there. Like one example, one guy, Jack Tatone, who, St. Louis Pro, they don't have women's physique this year. They dropped it because they don't have 5 competitors compared to Pittsburgh, who had 3. And neither of his shows do a live stream. Neither does St. Louis, Omaha, or any other show he does. Most people don't have the money to go, especially you got family. They don't have the money to go. That's more expensive. You can pay $40, $50 for for a live stream. But if you go to the show, that's the cost of the ticket, cost of travel, gas, food, motel. You know, that's gonna be maybe a few $100,000, not 1,000. You're gonna be spending. Where if you do the live stream and people say, you know what, I'm gonna watch, and you're right there. You can go to what's the St. Louis? What's the biggest college in St. Louis? I'm trying to think of.
I'm not sure.
I think isn't Purdue in Missouri? I think it's it. I'm trying to remember. But whether if you have even you go to hey, all you gotta do is ask somebody say anybody who does an AV or something like that, and yeah, okay, kid, we can pay you like $200-300, set up everything, do everything, you control everything, boom, boom, and just teach me and let me know about what's going on. You got to be
Right.
willing to be open minded, to be educated. That's the thing is, some people are not that open minded; they are
Right.
closed minded. Here we got a comment from my man Mike. Here he says this. He says, Montel Williams and Jenny Jones used to feature bodybuilders on their shows. Yeah, I used to. I remember
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
Montel was a big supporter.
yeah, big
Montel
supporter.
was a big supporter of female bodybuilding
Yeah,
back in the day.
he. I
So
remember
What
every
happened to
year.
him?
Well, he has I think it's Richard Pryor has. I think he has multiple sclerosis.
oh, that's too
Oh,
bad.
okay, got you.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think he's still in good shape. It's not as bad yet. They don't see him much. Like he used to do some,
Hmm.
infomercial stuff here and there.
Yeah,
Here we have here from Raheem says, how would that hurt their bottom line? They're not looking at what the Rock could have bring to the bodybuilding and the money he could have bring in. But the
Right.
thing is, for the NPCIBB, but what about the competitors? Most of those, like I say, most of the competitors, for them, if they're lucky, the ones who have a job or a career or something like that, they're good. But many of them do make their money through the beat meat websites, and some of the guys also, there's a big fetish for muscle or buff guys. Oh,
they
oh,
used to be on the news.
oh,
I'm.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa, whoa,
he's
whoa,
here,
whoa,
right?
oh, ooh, look who came in. Look who came in. Look who's here.
There he
Oh,
is.
Look who's here. Come on down,
oh
son.
boy.
Come get your whipping boy.
It's about time. We've been
Yeah.
waiting, man.
Wait before you talk about he says, this is from Mike says, facts, adapt or perish. Thank you, Mike. Also, he says this. He says, "Oh, consider use Google advertising services. They can have pre-roll ads on YouTube like we get for everything else. Yeah, but sometimes some people, I get the premium, so I don't get to see the ads because I blocked them out because I got the premium. So Raheem's here. Raheem's the town. Come on, son.
Yes,
What you got
indeed.
to say?"
What I gotta say is go Eagles. EAGLES Eagles.
Nah. You do this bullshit, man.
Yeah, they whooped
Yeah.
their ass, man. I ain't gonna lie. That first half, I just seen the first half, and they just destroyed them. And, like
Hey
they had
George.
like 7 points at that first
Hey
half. I
George, your
remember.
girl. Hey George, your girl is an Eagles fan. She's moving to Philly. Ha ha ha. That's what I
Okay,
heard.
so yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, see where we want to move at. That's cool.
Yeah, we should just do a wellness check on Keith. Anyway,
Hey, stop that shit. Leave my brother alone. Leave my big brother alone. I'm defending my big brother. We go out here in the yard, boy. We do like this. You know,
it's like Friday. Tina saw him run into the car. She's like, "Man, he's crying again."
don't do that.
Anyway,
Yeah, you got something to say, or you're
E-
talking shit.
I was gonna say,
I'm
easy for you to say talking shit here. Get face to face with the man and say that shit again.
Yeah. Say that
I,
again.
I
Good,
Special
oh y'all don't
good.
know
Best of luck.
me.
Best of luck to you,
special
Raheem.
luck.
I can talk
Special luck.
I can talk shit in
Right.
online in front of the face. I'm not listen. I'm a kid who born 1980. Okay, I talk shit in front of your face and I talk shit online. I'm not like
I
these
was born '74.
the
Okay.
I was
so
born '74.
hey
And I bought country too.
I'm going out to St. Louis next this summer.
Okay.
So I'm going out to St. Louis this summer.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Well,
Anyway,
anyway, while you're here, go ahead.
the whole situation with this situation is this. You can first of all, two things. That's the excuses they give is a cop out excuse because hear me out. Oh, the Miss Olympia been around for 45 years, 1980, right? So the mainstream media, the mainstream has seen the the evolution of female bodybuilders from being, bikini type style to what it is. The problem is, and I'm always going to emphasize what the problem is. The problem is you're not dealing with winners or bodybuilders you could push who has charisma, who is not scared of going in front of a mic, who can take take hard questions and also take soft questions. We're dealing with a generation of people who are quote unquote uh over 40 or 40 years old, 30. I need to be in a safe space like they're children. That's the problem. There's no media training in this sport. Okay, this is what you can say, this is what you can't say. You have female bodybuilders online arguing with trolls about they look like a man or not. This is the sport you
True.
chose. You taking the time out to do that, yet when somebody asks you a basic question who's new to the sport, you want to be standoffish, you want to be rude and disrespectful. See, the problem is not that mainstream people ain't trying to hear the sport, but if you got athletes who are being standoffish, rude, and disrespectful, saying that's a stupid question to a person who don't know about bodybuilding, then guess what's going to happen? They're not going to deal with it. And then you talk about money. The key issue about money is this: you want to make more money, you want to live this lifestyle. You have to get the mainstream to buy into the sport. New people, you already got the same casual, like I keep saying, they're not making you the money. They're not. There might be some new people who will say, okay, I want to spend $500 on the Olympia tickets. I want to go go out to Vegas and everything. It'll be fun. But if you're not doing that, guess what? No one's going to do it. So you have all these excuses, but guess what's happening? Your sport is dying. Sports in general are dying right now, but this sport is literally dying. You had Arnold and them lay the groundworks. All you had to do is pick up the ball and run. All you're doing now is not. And then what the situation with Dwayne Johnson, like I said, the moral clause wouldn't destroy their bottom line because here's the thing. He's saying, hey, you don't have to do this because with my name alone and Danny's name alone on this, the money will come to y'all. You just have to be patient. That's the key. Be patient. Nothing happens overnight, So um, I'm going to agree with female physique fan. They have to go and figure out how to bring new people to the sport because, again, you're talking about first of all, Olympia celebrated 60th anniversary. No one knew about that.
Right.
You spend all this.
Outside of bodybuilding, nobody has a
No,
clue.
no, no, no.
That's what I'm
Nobody
talking
has a
about.
clue.
Yeah,
And then think about
but
next year, the Super Bowl is going to be having their 60th anniversary, and watch, it's going to be probably the biggest show. They probably put it a bigger event, and you're going to probably see a lot. You just had, halftime show. You had someone like Kendrick Lamar. You might have more entertainers for the next Super Bowl, and that's going to be 60. That's just,
and
think about it.
a couple
That
a couple years. Sorry, I'm sorry. You also
yeah,
remember too, 2020, the NFL celebrated its 100th anniversary, even during COVID, during the lockdown. But people, they knew about it. The NBA, I think around was it 2022, 2020, yeah, 2022, they celebrated their 75th anniversary. You see, you got sports that's way older than bodybuilding, and people acknowledge their anniversary. So the problem is this again. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm gonna keep 100. Arnold wasn't the biggest bodybuilder in Miss Olympia. He wasn't. But you know why they gave it to Arnold? It's because he had charisma. He had a character. You're gonna be like, okay, you know what? Such and such is bigger than Arnold. But guess who the people outside of bodybuilder love? They love Arnold and they love Lou. So we're gonna put the belt or we're gonna put the championship on them. I keep saying it again and again. Your girl is going to be the Al Bundy of female bodybuilding. Because look at that. No, Iris Cow won 10 Miss Olympia, and no one acknowledged that.
That's true. They
Uh,
didn't.
Linda Murray won 8. No one acknowledged that. Your girl's going to be, I